Good morning. I hope we're having a good morning. Except my lights are blowing up. Woot! Hello everybody. So my lights that are underneath my shelf have disconnected themselves from Wi-Fi and I can't change them. I can't turn them off. And I was just trying to quickly reset them up again and I can't set them up. And they're super bright! Oh well. I have to crawl under my desk and just turn them off, I think. Or I'm going to leave it and it looks like I'm on fire. I'm like... So, yeah. How's everyone doing? I even forgot to put the starting soon thing up this morning. Frazzled. All frazzled. Frazzle Rock. Everyone used to watch Frazzle Rock? Been binging on your coding live streams to get better at Python. Oh, don't use my Python to get better at Python, let me tell you. I mean, my Python's getting pretty good and I'm still like 5%. Not even 5% of the way there. So I hope everyone is well. Sorry, my coffee's really far away. I'm just going to move that a bit closer so I don't have to lean over so far. How about 6 stuffed toy Fraggles? Really? Fraggle Rock was great. Learned more Git. Yeah, I still can't. Git just does my head in. It just does my head in. Anyway. As I keep saying, Git's like Linux, right? When it works, it's awesome. And when there's a problem, you're screwed. You need to be a rocket science to fix it. Okay, I'm going to do a quick roll call while there's a few people in here. So, good morning, Francois. Colin has already gone to sleep, but hi, bye. It was good to, thanks for popping in to say hello. Michael, hi. Embedded Hobbyist, hello. Death Shaker. Yuri, Azzy. Teletronics. Paul. G-Bown. Andy Mouse, hi. Shaq, hello. Arbel, I hope I got that correct. Hello. So someone tell me if the Esp32 can bootload over Wi-Fi without external memory chip. External memory chip. What do you mean by external memory chip? And what do you mean by bootload? Can you update it over Wi-Fi? Sure, with if it's set up for over the air. I'm not sure what you mean by bootload. Bruce, hello. Monster Mark, hi. Ian, hello. Andy. Gaston, hello. Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome. Rat Madness. Folknology, hello. Hi, Mark. And Emma, maybe. Hello. Shivraj, I think I got that correct. If not, sorry. Nick, hello. Good morning. No, it's not afternoon. It's the morning. Intimate Tech, hello. Hi, Flynn. Hello, Orly, who's not watching. And Bruce, hello. Crazy Roops. Griffin, hello. Hi, Simon. Plockygig7856. Another day in the Corona world. Yes, it is. Hey, Ian. Good morning. Hi, James. That's James Ellsbrook. Aaron, hello. Amit, hi. Nick Hill. Do a lab tour. Not right now, but yes, I'm overdue for one. Although, I don't think it's impressive, but anyway. Christopher White, hello. Sven, hi. Doug's. Dave Hines, hello. Git is meant to do your heading. No, well, I don't think it's meant to do it, but it definitely does mine heading. Ariel, hello. Albert. Gert, oh, got lots of either new faces or not often faces, names. There's good is a cartoon when you messed up, delete everything and start again. Well, in Git you can do that. In Linux, Hello, Fred Flintstone. Hi, Nikhil. Claude. Hello. Hello, Canada. Your package has been sent. but you probably should have got that notification. So hopefully it won't take too long to get to you. Although I hear that postage to Canada is a problem at the moment. Australia Post have stopped shipping now. So I can only send through Sendle. Benjamin, hello. Down the shed, hi. Bleep Track, hello. What? No sound? There's sound. Have you got me muted? Maybe you've got me muted. Hey Johnny, hey Pascal. Marinus, hello. All of Belgium is listening. I hope not. Jetarotech, hello. Laurent, hello. Hi there. Happy coding. MicroPython or Arduino? Both. But I much prefer MicroPython. Or Python in general. Your app had a hiccup. You should get it to do that thing, or you drink backwards out of the cup and it stops hiccups. Probably not good for your app though. Okay, I think I've caught up. No? Rota, hello. So I've caught up to everyone. Hi. A whole bunch of people joined as the list was going past. Sorry, more coffee. I played around with my settings again. Hopefully it'll be okay today and the playback will be fine. I don't know why I was getting so many drop frames last time, but my drop frames is only 20 so far today, so that's good. It's not an Irish coffee. No, it's 6:30 in the morning. I'd love to, but I'd be wrecked for the rest of the day. I'm going to be wrecked anyway. Hey Joe. Oh, James Sharman, I missed you. I think. I remember I just saw your name. How did I miss you? Anyway, hi James. Crazon, hello. What is the cheapest ESP32 sock with Wi-Fi? Well, they've all got Wi-Fi. That's the whole point of the ESP32. Yeah, what do you want an S0WD for? The price difference is pretty small between them all. You're not easy to miss, James. You're really not. That's why I said James Ellsbrook to specify, because I saw your name pop in, and then I must have skipped it. Sorry. Hello, Mike Swan. Hello, Hibbotronics. Yeah, YouTube stats. I think it's just the stats are broken. In 10K quantity. Yeah, all ESP32s are cheap in 10K quantity. So, I mean, it depends what you call cheap. But why would you want to go for an S0WD? I mean, it's old and it's yeah. Or just get something with flash, internal flash. Then you don't have to worry about it. I'll go view it on on all my devices, and my bots will also. Oh, right. Johnny stuff. Okay, so I don't really have a lot of news. I thought I had news. Do I have any news? I've got some My Parts news. Not that many of you will care. I don't know. Wow, that sounded harsh. I didn't mean that to sound harsh. Hey, David. I finally got Alpha 5 out, which for those that are testing My Parts or involved with the testing know that took me a while, although really not really a while. I mean, it was only like a week. To me, it felt like forever, or just over a week. Yeah, it was a really massive update, and the only reason I got it out yesterday is because I had to push some of the features into Alpha 6. It was a really big update. But it means that I can now get more alpha testers in. There was some stuff in there I had to get done before I had more alpha testers come in. There's a whole bunch of people waiting. So, no, PNP is not banned. No, talk about it. There's no banner. All good. So yeah, that's exciting for me because that was a hurdle. Like I've been putting a lot of coding time in. Like it's coding and hardware is competing for me at the moment, and because I've got people waiting, I had to get in. What are we doing today? We are going to play around with what a TinyPICO V2 could be, and I guess I need to preface that with why. I discussed it on a couple of streams ago. Hoping for NNP chat. What's NNP? I don't think Stephen's going to make me a pick and place machine. I think what Stephen's doing is absolutely fantastic, but it's not the caliber of machine that I need. Can I get an ESP 10K quantity for under $1? Sure. I mean, I'm not expressive, right? So you need to speak to expressive, but yes, you can. Yes, you can. You need to contact expressive. Tell them what your needs are. There's a lot of chips in their range now. Can I have a wide Ethernet with PoE? No. No. Well, not for me, you can't. But there are other people who've got. Missing the kick me sign. No, I took it off. That was kind of funny. I did that last minute for MakerCast. For those that didn't catch MakerCast, it was awesome. Had a really good time. Go check it out on Stephen's channel. But yeah, I've taken it off. Yeah, he was a great host. Heard anything about the Espressive's S2 mini modules that was brought up last week? I have a little bit, yes. It's yeah, I've got some data sheets that were sent to me now, and I've been speaking to Espressive about some stuff. Not really sure what they're aiming with them at. I don't know. And yes, what about the S3? I know all about the S3. What would you like to know? I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But, oh well, I might get in trouble. So the S3 is a dual. The S3 and the S2 are exactly the same number of GPIO, and obviously the GPIO on the S2 is way more than on the previous ESP32s. Dual core, Bluetooth 5 as well as Wi-Fi. It's got some other things that I'm not going to go into right now, but it's back up to 320k of SRAM, which is very good because the S2 has less SRAM. But there's something very interesting about the ESP32 S3 with its SRAM, is you can now, it's one contiguous piece of SRAM, where all ESP32s up until now have had partitioned SRAM, and that is going to make a huge difference, especially for things like using TLS and HTTPS. Thought I added an extra T then. On your ESP devices, quite often after 3 or 4 accesses of different requests over secure, you run out of RAM because you run out of stuff for the certificates. That's exactly it, David. HTTPS. So being able to access it in one contiguous chunk means less fragmentation, which means it'll go better. And obviously, PSRAM helps with that. And yeah. Hey, Mr. David Watts. Excuse me. One moment. Wow, I mentioned David Watts and I start with a coughing fit. Wow. Yeah, MakerCast is hosted by different people every month, and so it's a moving target. Moving target. What about my Tindy store? What have I done? So yeah, the S3 is, yeah, cool. S3 is coming end of the year, maybe, or early next year. Coffee went down the wrong way. The RISC-V ULP is in the S2 as well as the S3. It's already in the S2. It's inside this little boy here. Yes. I just have no idea how to use it. That's for someone else to work out. So I'm currently making a video about my test jig for this. So I'm building my test jig, but I thought I'd make a video about it, much to my dismay, because I could have built and finished the test jig in about 2 hours. But because I'm doing it on a video, it's now been 2 days and it's not finished. So, but sneak peek. And I just went for the standard, I just put standard pogos on. I didn't go for those fancy pogos. I almost did. I had them in my shopping cart. I almost did. And it was a lot of money. It was really, 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 really expensive. And so I decided not to, because it would have needed a custom board and very expensive pogos. And if it didn't work, or if I got it wrong, it would have been an absolute waste of money and time. So on a few streams ago, I was talking about pogos, I don't know, about 5 streams ago, and some people linked me to pogos that you can either surface mount on, or that yeah, it's a different type. I can't remember what they're called, or the company that had them. But yeah, they were very different to these little cheapy pogos that break really easily, and they're a pain to replace. Now, many of you will remember that I have always had a lot of difficulty getting the pogos in, getting them straight, and getting them even, and I worked out a new way of doing it. It's not rocket science. Anyway, but you'll have to see what it is on the... And got it first time, but you have to wait for the video. I don't have a link on me, not in an open browser here. Does anyone remember, there was a... Mark might remember what those pogos were. Can't remember. It's not rocket surgery, no. Did I say surgery or science? Rocket science surgery? Anyway, so that's my news. Anyway, I've got... So I did finish off my other two. These are the two test jigs. And I've got Raspberry Pi set up. I'm giving it all away. Anyway. And I've got software on both of them. And I got my LCSC order, so I got the extra load switch over there. So they're all ready to go. But yes, I need to finish that video. Hey Roger, Harwin is one. Yeah, there was Harwin and there was another one. Milmax. You see, Mark knows everything. That doesn't mean you're a know-it-all. It just means that you know. Yeah, anyway. My glasses are filthy. So, okay. So let's talk about the TinyPICO. Okay, hands up who remembers this conversation. Hands up. Who remembers the conversation about the TinyPICO V2? Mark's just good at Googling. Mark has got the fastest Google fingers in the world. What is the pad layout of the S2 Minis BGA? I don't know. As I said, I got sent a whole lot of data sheets. I've not even opened them because I'm not overly interested in the Minis. I got some data sheets about some other stuff. Now your shirt is filthy. Yeah, but it's down the bottom and no one can see. And to be fair, these grubby t-shirts. Anyway. Okay, Bruce remembers. Bruce remembers everything. Is that a Fraggle? David Boyd, is that a Fraggle? Little emoji? Looks like a Fraggle. Okay, Grazy Rubes put his hand up. Oh, is that just a hand up one? S2 RISC-V, but the Esp32 isn't. That is correct. The Esp32, the standard one, is just a custom ULP that you need to code with pretty much assembler. But the S2 onwards is RISC-V ULP, and it's a proper core. The core, the ULP in the current Esp32 is a limited core, where the S2 onwards is a proper RISC-V processor, proper core. Exciting. I don't know what people are going to do with it, but again, I don't even know how to use it. Hey J-Man. Yes, craze on. Okay, so let's get back to what we're talking about. So, I'm just going to switch cameras. Hopefully I'll still be able to see my chat. I'll just move it over here for the moment. So, this is my TinyPICO, for those of you that haven't seen it before. Yeah. Way! So, what I am considering changing on this, and why. So, the Pro Ant antenna is an awesome antenna. It really, really is. It's probably one of the best antennas, characteristics based, that I've ever seen and used. But I have some NPN chat updates. The new PC is built and new feeders came. Yay! Have you started the transition to OpenPNP? Like, how easy is that going to be? Are you going to have to write your own drivers? Mark's never seen a TinyPICO in real life. Yeah, what does that say, Mark? Wow. Anyway, so it's really good. The problem is it's metal and it's fragile, as you can see, and it's quite high, and it's easily bent. And so I generally, I ship out all of my TinyPICOs with these little blue clips to protect the antenna from bending during shipping, and lots of people leave them on. And it's okay to leave them on, but it does change the antenna characteristics a bit. But the other thing is that the matching network is underneath, which seemed like such a smart thing to do at the time because it saved space. But in reality, it means that if there is a placement or reflow issue with the matching network, I can't get to it and I have to take the antenna off to fix it. So from a manufacturing point of view, it's a pain, and from a large finger, I won't say clumsy as in people are clumsy, but accidentally clumsy point of view, it's quite easy to damage the antenna pulling the board in and out of a breadboard or getting it squished. So yeah, that's a pain. The other thing is the PICO RAM is on the bottom, and that means that I have to do assembly in 2 passes. We'll actually do it in 3 passes, but let's start here. Assembly in 2 passes. All the RAM goes on the board, on the bottom of the boards first, and then it gets reflowed. And then all of the top gets built, except for the antenna. And then it gets completely checked. And especially on my pick and place, everything has to be checked. And then I have to place the antennas on, and then reflow the board again. So that's a really long process, and it's a cumbersome process. And so I thought to myself, now that I've transitioned over for the new stuff to the Fractus antenna, which is still a fantastic antenna. It really is. I'm quite impressed with it. On paper, it's not as good as the Pro Ant antenna. It's not. But on paper it doesn't matter because you're not using them in a lab that's set up as test equipment, as a test area. You're using them in the real world, and in the real world there's interference everywhere, right? Can an Esp32 work without its RAM? No, nothing can work without RAM. What RAM are you talking about? You're talking about flash? You're talking about external RAM? The Esp32 has built-in SRAM, Shaq. So you need to be very specific because the answer to your question is yes and no, depending on the RAM. A lot of people confuse flash and RAM. That's the problem. So, I lost my train of thought. Right, and the Fractus antenna is also considerably smaller. And since making the TinyPICO, I've been able to work out how to use impedance matching with a very specific trace length to negate the need to have a matching network. So my TinyPICO Nano, here's a Nano that has not been cleaned yet. This is my TinyPICO Nano, for those of you that haven't seen that, which is the module version. That is also using the Fractus antenna, and there is no matching network on it. And it is perfectly tuned. Yes, this needs a clean. So look at how much space I can save. So this is a single-sided board. RAM is on the top. Now obviously there's no header pins and everything else around it. There's no USB connector, there's no APA or anything else. But the fact is, I am able to squeeze the TinyPICO quite a bit in terms of components with a bit of a rearrange. Using a Fractus antenna, I would be able to hopefully get the PSRAM on top. And if we get the PSRAM on top, it means that I can build the TinyPICO in one pass, because there's no RAM on the bottom to do the first pass, and the Fractus antenna doesn't require a matching network. But even if I did still need a matching network, it wouldn't be under the antenna, which means I wouldn't have to build it and then check it all and then put the antenna over the top again. So the main reason for me looking at the V2 is to improve my manufacturability of it. And a knock-on effect would be that the overall board would be considerably thinner. So without a JST connector on the bottom, the overall board would be as thin as the Nano, compared to the TinyPICO, which has the RAM on the bottom and the antenna on the top. And it'll be more durable because the antenna's not going to get squished. and I won't have to print and attach little clips. So there's quite a bit of saving when it comes to making them and packaging them. But it also means that I am going to have a whole bunch of components that I've got for the TinyPICO that I won't use, that I've paid for. So there's a bit of a wastage there, because I'm never going to use the Pro Amps on anything else. So what I want to do is, so I've been torn between transitioning, but what I'm going to do is make one. I'm going to design it. I'm going to start today, do it live, and build a prototype. And let's find out what we can squeeze on there. Let's find out if we can actually get the PS RAM on top and get the USB back on and the APA and everything else, because there's a few components not on here that are on here that are needed. So there's a bit of squishing to do. The key would be to make the final V2 TinyPICO exactly the same size, or smaller, but ideally exactly the same size with no new features, because I don't want to confuse the marketplace. I want it to just be a TinyPICO that's been revamped, if that makes sense. Okay, what do you mean by matching Wi-Fi antenna? Hello, lol. A matching network transitions a 50 ohm antenna to a 50 ohm pin, for instance, on the D4, and takes care of any mismatch on the trace and anything else to tune an exact 50 ohm impedance match. It's RF. It's black magic. So basically it's how you tune the antenna based on the placement of the antenna on the board and the placement of everything else to make sure that everything is 50 ohms all the way. The new factors are now white, looks great with black boards. Well, there are different factors. They've had white factors for a while. They've had all different coloured factors, and there's different colours for different things. I've not seen... Which new ones are you talking about? You're talking about they've revamped the current range, or is it a new additional? Because there are lots of different... I mean, there's Fractus antennas that are smaller than this, but the smaller they go, the worse the characteristics are. So this was a good balance for me. Why don't you just use up your parts and then make the change or phase it out instead of not using your parts? Well, I might do that, but I need a board ready to go. That's the thing. I can't wait till my parts are gone and then design a new board, because then I'll have no stock. So I need to have it ready to go if I'm going to transition. And I can't do that unless I make the board. Which Factors part is this one? That is the... that's a good question. So let's find out. Because... okay. One moment. There'll be a short delay. Hang on. Okay, let's find out what the antenna is, shall we? Let's have to get into my parts. Antennas, RF and radio. So this is the FR05 S1N0102. Is the antenna. And I have a few of them in stock. Well, I don't have that many left. If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. That's quite funny. Okay, I don't know what half this conversation is. Okay. Why is there RAM at the bottom? Esp32 has RAM and flash. Esp32 has some SRAM, 520K of SRAM. That is 4 megabytes of PSRAM. Why? Because MicroPython, or Python in general, takes a lot more RAM and so the extra PS RAM is quite useful. It's quite useful for a lot of things. And not every ESP32 comes with PS RAM built in, and yada yada. So, yep. Okay. What? For the free win. Okay, this conversation is going bizarre. Anyway, so that's the Fractus. And yep. So this is my current TinyPICO. Because Python is crap and inefficient. No, not at all. Because it's awesome. But it has a bigger runtime. What's all the Pink Floyd stuff? All the Pink Floyd references, which is totally fine. I love Pink Floyd. Okay. So this is the current. It looks a bit messy. This current TinyPICO. And as you can see, the antenna area takes a lot of space. And there is the matching network underneath the antenna. Interpreted language are a no-no in embedded applications. That's absolutely incorrect, J-Man. Sorry. Could not be further from the truth. You would be shocked at how many cutting-edge industries are using MicroPython and interpreted languages in devices like medical devices and you know, high-end specialized devices. Totally wrong. Oh, hey Paul, all caught up. Yeah, let's get this done. So I'm just trying to read. External SPI flash is needed if there's no flash inside the chip. There are different chips with different capabilities. You need to contact Espressive and find out, get a list of all the different products. Look at their website. They list them all. And then you need to try to find what suits what you need. Usually Python is used as glue and final code is C, C++. No, that's also not true. Also not true. You got to remember, there are stacks, like microcontrollers these days are way faster and more powerful than they've ever been. And most code that you run on a microcontroller sits idle most of the time. Of course, it depends on the application. There are some applications where you wouldn't run MicroPython or an interpreted language, but there are stacks of applications where not only is it perfectly fine, but it makes application development and maintenance 1,000 times easier. Like, why wouldn't you go that way? You know, it's being anti-Python on embedded purely because of the belief that C++ is the only way to do it. Well, that's 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's not today. Not when you can get microcontrollers at 160 megahertz or 240 megahertz, right? And that, you know, you'll be lucky if you use 10% of that, you know. And if you ever need any super fast performance for any particular thing in your application, you can drop down into C and C++. I mean, MicroPython is built on C++, right? You can write some very specific code in C++ and call it from your Python code. You can even inline it. It's, yeah. Anyway, can you start with your nano layout for making a TinyPICO V2? I don't want to start with the nano layout, but I want to integrate them both. So what I've done is, here we go. I've made let me just gotta find it. I have started on a V2 board, and I thought to myself, no, I should do this on a stream. So I started, here's my start of my V2 board, which I haven't really done anything. All I've got I put the Fractus on there, and I've moved the PS RAM off from the bottom and moved some stuff over, but then thought to myself, you know what? There's a lot of work I've already done on the Nano. I don't want to redo it all again. So I've made a version of my Nano that I've called TinyPICO Nano, I think, to pull apart. Or to something to... I've got to find it. To hack. So here's my Nano that I'm going to hack. Right, and the reason I did that is because I don't want to accidentally stuff up the version of my Nano that I don't want to hack. Okay, you might prefer C for coding macros, but that doesn't mean that C is the only way to do it. Do you target your V2 redesign towards the S3 or really as a drop-in replacement? Is the S3 pin compatible? The S2 and the S3 are not pin compatible at all. They're totally different to my TinyPICO. So this is all about the TinyPICO. Here's my coffee. This is a V2 of the TinyPICO, which is a completely different set of boards than the S2 or the S3. Yeah, there's people who've got Swift support and obviously .NET and all sorts of stuff. Okay, I'm just going to start ripping this apart while we're talking, getting rid of stuff on this that we don't need. And like, we don't need any of the headers, the castellations. I hope I am doing this on the right one. Yay. Thanks, Renee. Machine code. Yeah, do it all in assembler. Channel has too many mods. I wonder if I can ban all the other ones. Start, we can argue amongst ourselves. Hey, Quixotic Geeks, the best language to use is the one you know or the one the project is using. It's the one that's appropriate for the project and the one you're comfortable with using. Sec time. Thanks, Johnny. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of the outline. Don't need any of that. Now the key, what I'm going to try to do is transplant this by saving it down as a part and then just loading it directly in to the other one. But what I don't want any of this stuff at the front. I don't think. I mean, I could start it off just with this. So the stuff that's missing on here is obviously the APA, the second FET for switching on and off with a couple of resistors, the orange LED for charge IC. Otherwise, everything is here. Wow. I wasn't going to build it directly from this. I don't think I still will. I think I'm going to still torn. Yeah, mods, what's going on? There's no sound. There is sound. Just maybe check your volume or something, or refresh your browser. What is the benefit for using MicroPython over C++? Thanks, Marius. Well, it depends on the application. I mean, MicroPython's much nicer to code in. It's got, you know, its string stuff is way better than C++. It's got stuff like list comprehensions and it's a modern language with modern stuff. Like, it's, if you don't already code in Python, then you don't know. Like, it's you know, I used to say the same thing, but I do a lot of Python coding now. Obviously, my parts is all written in Python, and I do a lot of MicroPython coding, and I just would never want to go back and live in C++ land if I didn't need to. It's really simple as that. Okay, I need to save this as a design block. So I'm going to call this, it's going to be a design block, whatever. Nano hack. I've already got a few versions of my TinyPICO Nano, but this one I want to be able to hack it, and you'll see what I mean by that shortly. Thanks, Johnny. Mark's out of money. Everyone, Mark Olsen's out of money. Everyone go buy one of his things from Tindy. Python is not for real-time applications. Not true. Not true. Sorry. There are just stacks of people using Python for real-time applications, in real-world applications, in industries that everyone says with absolutely has to be C++ in the embedded space. It's just not true. It's really not. Okay. Let's go back to my V2 TinyPICO. Once I get everything in, hopefully I'll be able to just start hacking away. Assuming that I can add this easily. So let's find out. I should be able to just... I want to add a design block. And I should be able to see my Nano hack. Yay. Now, it'll either let me do it or it won't. It might throw an error. Yeah, package variant. This device set LED is not present in the new version of this device set. Yeah, that's a pain. So let's see. I might need to just update my library. Update. Package variant is not present. Cap ceramic. Okay, it's not a pain at all. I think it's that one. Okay, let's see if that worked. Let's try to add it again. Thanks, Henrik. I'm doing sec for Mark. What engine did you use when you were game coding? I was using Unity, so it was all in .NET. And again, that's a classic example of, you know, games have to be written in C++. You know, a managed library, a managed runtime is not fast enough for game development, which is rubbish. Of course it is, because hardware is getting super fast. And as hardware gets faster, all those barriers get taken away. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to my Nano and change that, maybe. That's annoying. Thank you, Bruce. Save. Yeah, I'll save that. Okay, looks like I'm going to have to update this one first, maybe. Might even be a totally different library that's having the issue with the LED. Yay, Nassim's got sound. Hi to anyone that's joined that I haven't said hi to. Hey, Bonhomme too. Mark Olsen is dead on. The Python side of things might not be real time, but you write C modules for time critical stuff. That's what I said. Absolutely. Hello, Rick. Okay, did that... One of these LEDs. So I wonder if maybe I don't have... Maybe one of the LEDs is using an old library. Right, it's using... Right, okay, hang on. God, I can never remember the name of his library. Try that. Okay, update. Now I'm going to save this again as a design block. I wonder if I can do it over the same version. I don't think I can. Nano hack. Replace. Override. Yes, I can. Yay! From language awards to EDA tools. Yeah. Mine is the channel where everyone fights. Fight, 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 fight. Okay, maybe not. Library updates. Let's do the same thing here just to make sure we're all on the same bits. Okay, so now, hopefully, I can add design block. This is all cool. I should have set all this up beforehand. Sorry. Okay, yay. So now, as you can see, I've got... It might not let me place it. Will it let me place it? Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Good. Do it. There we go. We've got them both wrong in here. Hello. Hello, France. Hey, Emery. Oh, let's not start a Windows versus Mac thing. There's a story about one of them, I think. Okay, I'm staying out of most of this conversation. Yeah, okay. So as you can, I'm going to just hack this over the top. As you can see, it does almost fit. Like, I could really just do that. I could. What do you think? Place it just over the top like this, and then add all the rest of the stuff back on. I could do that. Oh, what would I need to... Right, the problem with that just is I'm going to need to... There's not enough room for the labels. I don't think... Oh, maybe. Let me just turn the... I'm just going to do this. You guys just chat amongst yourselves, okay? Let's just get the labels on. Can I fit that in? Oh, I missed the background. That's okay. I can't really fit the header labels like this. Just check what is recorded as far as Luton Airport. Yeah, it's interesting that Royal Mail reckons that International is going to get like to Australia in 10 days. I don't think so. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Fitting most of the same design and placement in there is a smart move, I think. Future revisions for both types would be easier. Yeah, maybe. But I still need to squeeze some stuff back on, like the APA and stuff. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, if I do this, it's going to be a one direction thing. So let's just do it. Let's just rip out the old, shall we? What are we working on? You're asking me what we're working on? I'm a 52. What? 6502. God, I just had a brain freeze. Commodore 64, 6502, 6510. I didn't do the Z80. Okay, I'm going to rip out all of the old. Out with the old, in with the new. Right, so the Nano also doesn't have the GPIO 3534. So yeah, I have to be careful here. No, I need to keep some of that. I want to keep my LED, and I need to obviously keep my USB. I need to keep the extra reverse USB protection. Okay. Love Halt and Catch Fire. I've watched it twice. No, I've watched it 3 times. I've watched it twice, and then I watched it with Yuz again. Okay, so need a bit of cleanup here. Actually, better be careful what I'm deleting, or it's going to delete from everywhere. Okay, routing might be a problem because the D4 is in a different position. It's going to be a bit of a pain, but okay. So let's need to keep those. I'm just going to do some cleanup. Go away. Stat, stat, stat. Yeah, look, I'm just going to clean all this up. Get rid of all the routing. Get rid of all of the ground wires. I'll have to put them all back in later based on what I need. $40 degrees. Oh, drop in temperature. Wow, okay. Okay, I don't need that reset. You can go. And right. So there's going to also be some, because I am using the Fractus, I'm not going to have, I need clearance on the ground plane. I'm going to have to, I might just use that one. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Can you please flip the USB symbol, ground down, VCC up? That drives me crazy. What do you mean? Flip it where? Flip it in here? Really? Does it matter? Why does it matter? Out of curiosity. I've seen plenty of schematics where ground is sticking up in the air. Yeah, no, well, it depends what I'm grabbing. I could just use group. Yeah. Truth is, I just like clicking a lot. I like my mouse. I find this quite satisfying. It's true. No joke. Okay. Okay, almost there. 4, get rid of that. Bye, 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 bye. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move this out the way because there's no room for it with the nano. So this is the voltage divider for the battery check, and so I'm going to have to find a new place to keep that, and I'm going to have to find a place to keep the orange LED gamification of ECAD. Click to win. Yeah, it's like a clicker. So this is the yeah, the orange LED. Someone asked earlier about USB-C, I think. Did someone ask about USB-C? Anyway, so with USB-C, I mean, right now my aim is to keep the TinyPICO the same. Whether I make a USB-C version of the TinyPICO at some point is a different story. But the key for this has to be that I'm just going to get rid of the top ground layer, the copper fill. It's going to be redone. Yeah, it's to keep this the same, to remove any confusion about the transition to a new TinyPICO, the splush revision. I'm a USB-C elitist, Tony. I love USB-C. I'd rather USB-C on everything. Okay, I got just bits of gooblies. As I said, I should have done this earlier. Should have done the cleanup myself. Okay, so oops, almost got the edge of the board. So I'm not convinced I want the antenna there though. And the order of the routing for this is totally different on the Nano. Well, some of it's different. And done. Ship it. Let's ship it. So clearly we have some problem here, and we have some problem here. And what I might need to do is just rotate the antenna. Put the antenna up instead. No, I'm not using Open OCD for the test jig. Don't need to use Open OCD. Use the Esp32 uses ESP tool. Is chat broken? I don't think so. But you can see, interesting, you can see my chat behind the other one. I just realized. Good luck matching that. Good luck matching what? I think I'm going to need to, yeah, I'm going to need to move the antenna. I think, because that's just a silly place for it. Okay. Yeah, I'll fix that up later. You don't really want the antenna feed coming in at that angle, but for such a short trace, it should be fine. I will deal with all of the wires later. Or now. Okay, so I know some of this is off screen a little bit. So the problem here is that I Yeah. Hi Yaz, good morning. I'm not quite sure. It's getting a bit close, maybe. Maybe that's okay. Because I need the clearance. Okay. So this is going to leave me some empty space, but maybe... that's not good. Because if the APA and stuff went over here, then that's fine, except I'm not sure I can get to it because it's coming out of here. This is going to be a routing nightmare. Okay, yep, that's fine. We'll try this. So... I'm just gonna rough this out. So yeah, the idea is to, I mean, if it all fits, then I'll route it. Put the APA on the bottom of the board. Yeah, let's go back to double-sided. Just go back to the simple clothes hanger in tinfoil. For what? What? No, I just saw it pop up as I... No, there's no bell. Hey, Rob. Hi to anyone that I haven't said hi to. Sorry. This will be a routing issue, and obviously I've got issues like the RAM is sitting too close to the labels. One of the things I was thinking of doing, I'm going to switch for a second. Well, it's really bright now. Let me just turn that down. I want to show you. I have some headers here somewhere. Where are those headers? Here they are. So, you might not... Are they the same? Maybe they're the same. So one of the things I dislike about these header pins, all header pins, is that when you put them in, you see how loose they are? So one of the things I've done with, I did with my TinyPICO, and I've done with my my Pro S2. I haven't with the Feather S2 because I'm just using the Adafruit layout. So if I put them in here, you'll see that these are really loose, right? Because of the size of the drills. But on mine, I've actually made them smaller, so there's less movement. I want to make them smaller again. So if I can make the hole smaller, then I can make because the annulars are quite small, as you can see. If you compare the annulars, the annular is the bit around the hole. If you look at the annular on mine compared to the Adafruit, mine are quite a bit thinner. I've left them thicker on the Pro S2 because I'm going to do castellated edges on the side as well. So they need to be a bit thicker. But if I could find out what size to reduce the hole, just a tiny bit, a little bit, then I could get a little bit more space. I wouldn't want to get the silk screen any closer to the holes than what I've got here, because JLC PCB are not accurate with their silkscreen. Quite often I'll get quite a bit of a shift, and if it gets too close, it'll just get chopped off. Like, it looks like here there's a stack of room to shift them, but there's not, unfortunately. Eyeballing it, but there seems to be as much space at the bottom as there is overlap of the RAM and the top labels. Right, I can move this down slightly, sure. Bit hard to grab it all now, but yeah, I mean, I can move it all down. I don't want to move the JST though. And boy, is there some cleanup work that needs to be done here. Wow. Can you make the hole smaller? I can make them smaller. I just got to be careful how small I make them. You won't be able to put header pins in anymore. What's the actual dimensions of each pin? Well, I don't know, because every pin head is slightly different depending on where you buy them from. And I generally buy the cheapest I can get. And they're square. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth trying to even work it out and try to get them smaller. Why not just go with labels on the back? Arduino Nanos do this. Because when it's in a breadboard, what are you going to do? I have labels on the front and back. And I think that's a nice thing to do. Well, see my lights? Oh, there we go. Front and back. When it's in a breadboard, how do you know what the pins are? Anyway, look at the pinout sheet. Sure. Hey Michael, but you know, not everyone keeps a pinout sheet handy, and I think it's just a nice thing to do. I think having the numbers on the top, if I can squeeze them in, is the way to go. So I want to keep them there. So let me just turn off the names for the moment. So I could just grab... See, there's like this here as well, like the LDO is a problem. I don't want to shift it all though. Maybe I'll have to shift it all. I don't want to wreck the routing. It's going to move the JST. What's the position of the JST? I'm going to... Really? Where's the bottom? Okay. I don't even know where the I can't find the origin for the JST. What are my controls heading for? There we go. That's it. So the JST is at, I'm just going to screenshot that because it's going to move. I'm going to have to put it back. Okay. No, I need it all standard. Get rid of the unrouted. Turn off the names. Turn off the place. Okay, cool. So, if I grab it all, actually I need to turn off my inner layers so I don't wreck those. I don't want the USB. Maybe I can grab it without the JST. Oh, I did. Okay. I should really stick. See you, Dave. Take care, mate. Kriegel was so pumped yesterday I forgot the name of the ECAD software I swapped to. You forgot KiCad. Have you really moved to KiCad now, have you? Mr. Watts? Really? Oh, no. So is that giving me enough room? There's a bit more room. I mean, there are wires in the way there. I don't have enough room for the ground and the reset labels. That's about as good as I can get, but I've still got the 5 volt over here. That's a problem. I might have to stick... Yeah, I'll have to maybe revisit that. And this doesn't fit with the USB. Yeah, I don't think this is going to fit. This is not going to fit without redoing half of it anyway. Eagle's free. There's a free version of Eagle. All the cool. So I'm not a cool kid? Wow, devastated. Yeah, and LTM parts move themselves. I'm gonna have a problem for space here. Like, I'm gonna have to squeeze this up even more, and the nano is super tight. Bill Windows invented Microsoft Gates. That's funny. The nano's packed in pretty tight. I know that it looks like there's a bit of empty space. What can I point with? I know it looks like there's a bit of empty space around here, but there are traces everywhere for the routing. Should get that in the middle. So there's really not a lot, and I need to squeeze some more in there. Oh boy. Quicker to do a route from scratch. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why I wasn't going to use the nano specifically. I was going to use the PS RAM, CP204, the twin transistors, and the D4 its placement, and the rest I was going to keep the old version. I definitely don't want to make the board bigger. And maybe if I, shock horror, if I move this back out again. Maybe if I put the antenna back down here. Assuming I can keep the trace small enough. This will give me some more room horizontally. I don't know if I grabbed it all then. We'll soon find out. See, stuff like this resistor can just straighten that up. I mean, they can sit vertically to get that out of the way. And 3.3 I can fix. Sorry, I don't know if there's any chat. More layers. More layers isn't going to help me. Hey Colin, more layers won't help me unless I'm going tinted vias, which I'm not going to do. That's just not going to happen. Don't worry about the antenna trace right now. So that gave me a little bit more room. I'm now off the USB pads, so that might be okay. And there might be enough room to get the rest of the stuff in. Okay. So I still have a problem up here. Oh, I moved the... Oh no. I moved the labels. That was an accident. Let me just put them back. Okay. So that could fit. Let me just get rid of the bottom so it looks clearer. There's a bit of work. I don't like how unrouted is selected by default. Tinted Vias is some 90s song, some 70s song. Does everyone know what tinted Vias are? So going smaller in component size will help, but I can't pick and place them. So what's the point, right? I can't pick and place smaller than 0402. If I could, put labels between the pins. I'd prefer not to. I'm not a huge fan of that. I did on my Pro S2 on 1 pin, and I really don't like the look of it. But anyway, you can see here that number 3, so that's pin 0, 1, 2, and 3, because I couldn't, because of the caps here. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that's confusing, really. So I'd prefer not to do it. You know, I might be able to get the labels a fraction closer to the pins, maybe a fraction. But look, I could probably make this work. Ooh. Am I going to keep the logo on? I don't know. I can definitely make this work, I think. The LDO, I've got room to move the LDO over, which means I can now right, that's another thing as well. So there's no enable pin on the TinyPICO, so I don't need enable broken out here, which means I don't need this resistor. This can just connect there. Mark's tired. Yes. Root or root. Tainted via OOO. Tainted love. Tainted via. That's really funny. Yeah, that's a solution, but it isn't ideal. Which one's the solution? Right, so because I've got rid of that resistor, I can now move this back down. So I have space here now. So I can get rid of the so that's not overlapping. Okay. So this can fit. Ground, yeah, I could just stick a G for ground. I prefer not to. I like to keep them consistent. But I think I did a G on my new boards for space. A big G. And they've got the square pads anyway, which I know people freak out about the square pad. But, you know, really, stay straight. So we do a big G for ground. So people don't think it's a 6. What am I missing in the chat? Have I missed something? Route, route. I still say cache instead of cache, and I get caned for that. Don't I? I've been caned on my videos for saying cache. Yes, I'm messing around with labels right now, and I really shouldn't be, but I want to make sure that everything fits. And reset, that's fine. So there is something I was thinking of doing on this that I thought would be really... Okay, so remember, I don't want to change features. The board, I think the board needs to stay feature matched, right? But if there was space to stick a reset button, that would be really cool, wouldn't it? It would be cool. Yeah. Okay, I need to destroy this and put it back on again. Could really do with another coffee, I think. Anyway, I need to see how long it is. I might have to lift the antenna. And I know I could do it round, but for the moment I need to know how long this is and how close that is. There's nothing on those pins anyway. Okay, so if I go to View, Inspector, Is it inspector? Which one do I need? Not inspector. Design manager. Right. So if I top side. No, I don't want. I want traces. Oh boy, selection filter. Why is it not letting me? Why can't I see what I've selected? Oh, here we go. Oh my, oops, damn. I want my total length of the trace. Show me what I've selected, but I want my trace length. Why can't I see my trace? Come on, someone. Oh, devices, signals. God, that was annoying. No, no, not signal. Default. Here we go. Antenna. I need to be in millimeters. Okay, so my antenna trace is 5.799. It needs to be under 6. Yay. So, hey Mike, so what I want is my trace length has to be less than, equal to or less than 10% of the wavelength. So I need it to be 6 millimeters or less in length to make sure that that I can hit. So the length of the trace doesn't matter when it comes to matching 50 ohms, but if it's greater than 10% of the wavelength, then it'll need a matching network to fix it. I remember the battle of the reset button on the original. It was short internal battle. It was like, I've always been not happy about not having a reset button on the TinyPICO. With things like MicroPython and stuff, you don't need a reset button because you can do a soft reset or a hard reset from like code or from the REPL. You know what I mean? You can't do that with Arduino IDE or whatever. Or if it's deployed, you can't do that. So it'd be nice maybe to have a reset button. Anyway, so this is good, but I can make it better because what I did was I could make this curved. What am I doing? If I delete that, properties, and I can make it 90. Go backwards, wrong way. Let's just wait. Let's think. Let's think. So if I do that, and then I make this -90 for the curve. I'll have to go straight first. That's annoying. What's if I make that -90? Oops, wrong one. I hate how Eagle does that. I hate how Eagle does that. Look at this. Okay, let's try that again. Just get. Oh. There are some things. Hey, the hookup. ESP restart. Right, but that's got to be in your code. You can't just type that to a ESP32 and make it restart, right? Like, that's got to be in your code. Like with MicroPython, I can just, any board that's out there, I can just connect to it with the REPL and Control D and tell it to reset. Yeah. So sorry, I'm just having fun with this. This is like ridiculous. Okay, let's start that again. let's go again. So okay, maybe I want that to be 45. I should do this later. I should really do this later, right? It's because of my grid spacing. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do this later. It was perfectly fine how it was before. But, you know, what are you going to do? Perfectly fine. I'm just curious to see how sure I can get it. 5.2. You can see it's changing real time, right? The smaller I get it, the better it is. So, okay, good. But that's within 10%. Use the arc tool. You can't use the arc tool for a trace, I don't believe. That's Ant, and they need deck. What? Have you ever used Easy EDA? It's really good. It doesn't do that weird trace thing. Yeah, also doesn't do a lot of other stuff. I'm not anti-Easy EDA at all. Okay. So, anyway, the point is, okay, this will fit. And I've got room to stick my charge LED here. Assuming I can route to it. No, that's the voltage divider. Try that again. I'll work that out later. Now the other, where's my other hotkey? It's over here. I have a I need to squeeze this other hotkey back in. So this is the reverse USB protection. Oop. So that's got to come back in. It's actually got to go the other way around. Kind of there. And that connects to here. So that's going to be tight. But I've got some space. Oh, that's interesting. Some of my trace names have changed. Why is that not joined on anymore? That's a bit annoying. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work all this out. Hey, cable tie. You guys must be finding this very boring. But anyway, I need to that actually needs to go there. Because I want the decoupling to happen before the VBus 1. Is everyone bored? Doing this type of stuff, it's just really slow going. But the point is, I should be able to get this in. And I've still got to solve my D plus and D minus, which is sitting all the way over there with these ones. Actually feels nice to know the pain is shared. Yeah. I mean, doing it from scratch would be no easier, to be clear, because it's, well, Like, knowing whether stuff's going to fit or not is the issue, and whether it's going to be routable. At least I know this is routable. But, well, I hope it's routable. The D4 is sitting in a different orientation. Drawing boards is always very energy consuming. It's very tedious. It takes a lot of thinking time. It does. And a lot of doing it again and again and again and changing minds and moving things around. I don't really want to make it longer. And I need clearance around the USB pins in case I need to get in there and redo it. I have a rare skill in being bad at PCB layout. Really? Have some blue cheese. Okay. I mean, the voltage divider can be somewhere else. Like it's... Okay, let me just put my bottom traces on. Because there's some old D plus and D minus here that can go. So the old ones are that and that, that and that. This will just tidy things up a little bit. And I've trace matched them on the TinyPICO, which on the Nano, which I didn't do on the TinyPICO, and I don't really think it's necessary. I could also probably go thinner trace. I'm going to have to go thinner traces because it needs to squeeze between the VBAT pins. That's all a bit squishy in there. Wow. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. We'll worry about how we're going to get into that later. We'll solve that later. And the same with this. Getting access to ground is always the interesting thing. So I don't need reset all the way over there either, because reset's not being brought all the way along, and stat is not coming down to here anymore. Though I could put the LEDs here. So on the TinyPICO, the LEDs are all next to each other. Blind wires, no. My 0202 3mm pitch LED panel was tight. This isn't overly tight. Well, yeah, it's not really tight. Oops, didn't want to do that. Oh well, and I lost it. No, haven't. Come on, I want to just let you little blue sucker. There it is. Okay, so my traces. Oh, I'm still on millimeters. I really want to teach myself to go to millimeters. I really do, but I don't think I can. I'm gonna go back to mils. I'm just so used to knowing everything that I want in mil that it's I don't think I can go back. I go to millimeters. Can't do it. I need a reason to do it. A good reason. Okay, so I'm going to make all of these 6mm. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and of course these are going to be back to front, aren't they? Yes, they are. That's going to suck. You know what? It's going to be easy for me to just get rid of them. Sorry, I should have just got rid of them. Whoop. And do it again. So, because one's going to have to come from underneath because they flipped. So it's always annoying that it's D minus and D plus on top here, but it's D minus and D plus. So one's got to come underneath the other one. Good reason for going metric is sanity. Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I start with using TSOP. Why would I start using TSOP? Anyway. Hey Julian, what the duty? I'm working on a V2 TinyPICO, like I discussed on my stream a little while ago, a couple of weeks ago, and there's a wire right in the way there, which is really annoying. I'll worry about that in a second. Oh wow, that is. Yeah, it's not a sanity thing for me. Like right now, working in millimeters is the difficult thing for me. Because my brain is not... I've made a lot of boards, right? And my brain is totally set to working in mils. So... I don't know why I just did that. Anyway. Dun, dun, dun. That's okay. That's not terrible. Okay, that's D plus and D minus. People with check marks. Who's going? Colin's going? Bye. See you, Colin. Thanks for joining. Okay. Wow, look what happened here. That's pretty funny. VBAT. Why is that not moving? And why is it all the way down there? Yeah. This is going to take a lot of cleanup. USB. Oh, wow. See, so much of this is solved already on the TinyPICO that's going to have to be redone. And all my inner layers are going to have to be redone. Yeah. And what's going to hurt the most is getting access to ground everywhere. That's going to be the kicker. So for all the people in chat that have got a TinyPICO, have any of you ever used the TX and RX pads on the bottom? Do anyone there even know that there's TX and RX pads on the bottom? Has anyone ever noticed that I stuck TX and RX pads? No? No one's noticed? I don't see a use for them. Because if you've got 5 volts connected, then the CP21 is on. And if the CP21 is on, then the UART is taken. And so you can't do anything with them. And technically you could use them as I/O if you wanted to. If there was nothing using them, if you're running off 3.3 volts or battery only. But how would you program that and flash them? What does a TinyPICO do? It's a piece of Lego that you plug in. It's a piece of Duplo. Oh, here we go. I might get rid of it. I really don't see its use. I really don't. Especially if there's not going to be any RAM on the bottom. I'm going to take it off. Because where it is right now is an absolute pain. Maybe at some time in the future. Actually, I won't. I'm just going to move it. I like to move it. Yep, sorry about that. If I move it out of the way, and I can worry about it later. Put it there, and obviously the TX label, you're not needed, go away. The RX label, go away. Okay. Good. Good. Peel. What are we going to call this one? Oh, we need a new name. Anyway, lots of logos. Wow. Let's just... This is just not important to do right now. This is just, it's not important. Which screens? What screens we're talking about? Switch back to CAD. Oh, switch. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, folks. Sorry. Anyway, so I just got rid of the, I had two logos here. An old one and a new one. So I just got rid of the old one. Sorry. Okay, so I know that doesn't really look cleaner. I'm gonna have to redo so much stuff. An electric shock button to zap me. Yeah, sorry, I'm just laser focused. So I've only dropped 20 frames this whole stream today, and I'm running at a higher bitrate than I was before. So yeah, I hope this will work okay. Oh, Ben's here. Hello, Ben. Hey, Station 240. Wow, so many people I've missed in chat. I'm so sorry. So sorry. It was 20 at the start. Yeah, it hasn't been dropping. Now that I've said that, though. So, okay, so here's the thing. The whole point was this. If I just go to here, I know it's not routed. Okay, it's not routed, and it looks a bit ugly right now. And don't worry about the logo there. But the fact is, I can get everything on, and I can make the board single-sided, which is what I needed to find out. I can get the new antenna, I can get the trace length under 10%, and get the RAM on top, and this is still feature, it's got feature parity with the TinyPICO, it's the same size and everything else. So lose the G and use a ground symbol. Well, there were different ground symbols. Yeah, not a ground symbol. No, I'm happy with the G. I'm using G on my Pro S2. Well, look, I might be able to squeeze, make it different. I don't know, now that I'm re-spacing stuff. Wow, Johnny, that's heavy-handed. But you should listen to him, for sure. So, at least I know that I can fit it all in. There's got a lot of work to fix this. I made G larger. Ground doesn't fit. I can't fit ground here. Ground won't fit here. I'm not having some labels. Okay, so all the words go sideways because they don't fit horizontally. I'm not having one word sideways and one word like reset this way, and they won't fit next to each other. Move the via. No, guys, don't worry about the vias. Don't worry about the labels. This is all about can I squeeze it in? Can I get everything back in on the board and make it all single-sided other than the JST? And the answer is yes. And that is what I needed to find out. So the next thing I need to do is actually finish this board, which is going to take probably days of effort to actually finish it to a point. Battery to B. I'm just ignoring you all. So, yes. Yes. Yes, yes, I can do it. Question is, will I do it? I think I will. I think I will finish this. Hey, Zero himself. Hello. Go back to me. So, I am going to finish the board. Try to fit the reset button. The problem with the reset button is then makes the two boards different. And that's the problem I've got. I want to not do that. Hey, Alan. I think I can. I think I can. Need to launch a Kickstarter as pre-orders. Probably not. Not for TinyPICO. I already did crowd supply. Why the single side? Okay, I covered all that at the start. To dramatically reduce my manufacturing requirements. It'll be faster and easier for me to make the boards, and it also takes 3 components off my pick and place machine, which is really important because I'm out of space on the pick and place machine, and even if I get a new pick and place machine, it's still only got 60 feeders, and so you know I've got 3 parts on my pick and place machine. Did I say 3 or 4? It'll take 4 parts. 4 parts off my pick and place machine. I've got 3 parts on my pick and place machine that are just for the matching network on the TinyPICO. They don't get used anywhere else, right? So, and they never will be used for anything else. And I could also remove the Pro-Ant antenna eventually, which is a 24mm feeder, which takes up 3 slots on the pick and place machine. So that's 6 slots I would get back on my pick and place machine by not using the Pro-Ant with the matching network. And so this is also sharing more components like the Fractus and stuff for the other boards I'm using. So it'll be much quicker to make. How many TinyPICOs have you made and sold? So I'm well into my 4th reel of TinyPICOs. And hang on, was it? No. 3. That's a really good question. Let me go backwards the other way. Because I also used to buy Pico D4s on tape before I bought reels. And I bought a lot of them. So, yeah, and how many are on my floor? So, 2, 3.5. Yeah, I'm on my 4th reel. So I've made 6,500 or more. Somewhere between 6,200 and 7,000 TinyPICOs. That's a lot of TinyPICOs. Yeah. So, and I'm pretty sure I've got another 1,000 or more to make coming up fairly soon. 4th reel, but one of them was spat over the carpet. Yeah, not a whole reel on the carpet. I always reuse them. If they go on the carpet, I do reuse them because they're too expensive not to. Thanks, Julian. It is impressive. It is. But they're still a pain to make, right? And so I want to reduce that. I want to reduce the pain of making them, and I want to reduce, which means reducing the speed. No. Reducing the speed, increasing the speed, reducing the effort. So 2 reflows becomes 1. 3 pick and place stages becomes 1. 6 feeder slots free up on my pick and place machine, on any pick and place machine going forward, and no metal antenna for someone to damage, a thinner board overall, don't have to print 3D clips, so I'm saving on filament and on putting them together. Sounds like you would benefit from a good pick and place machine. I wouldn't know what benefits I would get from a good pick and place machine, because I've never had one. So yeah, that's my main reason I want to do the shift. But as I said, I don't want to do the shift. I don't want there to be confusion out there between the two versions. They're going to look a bit different, and I need to do it at a point in time when the amount of stock that's out there is at its lowest point possible. But I still need to keep making current version TinyPICOs because I'm almost out, and I've got a large order I need to do, and crowd supply are running low again, or they're about to drop down to under 500. So they're about to hit their reorder point again, and I don't know what their reorder would be. Reset button footprint on the bottom for those who want to add it. I guess that's a possibility, but it still makes the board a bit different. So yeah, I think a less fragile antenna would be good for a lot of people. And as I've mentioned, I've never bent one or busted one. But that doesn't mean anything, right? I mean, it doesn't take a lot of effort to wreck one. Am I in profit? That's an interesting question. If you look at just the TinyPICO on their own, yes. Although my margins are really slim, right? So, okay, if you look at my time, no, I'm not in profit. For the amount of time I've spent making TinyPICOs, forgetting about the R&D and everything else, the amount of time it takes me to make them, I'm in profit if I'm working for below minimum wage. Yes. Does that make sense? Is the company in profit? No. Have I been paying myself to do them? Yes. Have I been paying myself well? No. Like under $10 an hour is what it works out to, right? But I could probably take, I think I've worked it out once before, maybe $7 or $8 an hour. I could probably take that to $15 an hour if I moved to the new version, because I can dramatically reduce the amount of time it takes to make them. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing. Like, before I bought this pick and place machine, I was in profit. With this, I used basically, the last lot of big order and then some from crowd supply to pay for this machine. But this machine's really not useful for me. You know what I mean? Like, this has slowed me down. So, I'm in gross profit, but not net profit. Yeah. I don't track my time, and I can't track my time. Like, I don't track the 100 or 200 hours that Yaz spent packing bags, right, and stuffing cards, or that I spent doing that. The ultrasonic cleaning and stuff. Like these are also a problem to clean ultrasonically, because if I leave them too long, it oxidizes the antenna. If I don't leave them long enough, it leaves residue around the USB pins. It's a real thing, right? Yeah. So there's very good reasons for me to move to the new one, but it's the perfect height for packaging. What's the perfect height for packaging? I'll tell you something else. So every single TinyPICO I sell. Hang on. So my packaging costs will go down. My packaging costs. Every TinyPICO individual one I sell, like this, I mean, that's also a pain in the ass to bag them, right? And all the bits are inside. Has to go in two I need to put it in 2 bubble wrap bags, just so the antenna doesn't get squished. Because the cost of shipping at the moment, if I have to replace a board because the antenna was squished, then I'll lose money. I've just lost money, right? Like a massive amount of money. I've probably lost profit on 3 boards if I have to replace 1. So I put stacks of packaging. But because I've got stacks of packaging, my packaging cost goes up, right? I mean, I know bubble wrap's not that expensive. Like, you know, they're 10 cents a bag, right? So it's 20 cents a bubble wrap. If I went for the other antennas, I could not even bubble wrap them because the padded bags I use have got bubble wrap in them. Right, I could save, again, 20 cents per, I know it's only 20 cents, but it adds up, right? 20 cents over, you know, thousands and thousands of boards makes a big difference. So there are a lot of aspects about this that could save me time and money. Having to wait for a certain amount of time before you can clean the flux off. Not having to wait a certain amount of time, just how long it can be in the ultrasonic cleaner for. Like, I have to time it perfectly and get it out, get it clean, and get them dry in a certain period of time. Look after the pennies and the... What's the rest of that one? Yeah. Like, I'm not deliberately trying to save pennies. And, by the way, if I move to the new board, the actual BOM cost goes up, not down. Like, I'm saving 3 components, and I'm switching an antenna. But the antenna, the Fractus antenna, costs me more, or maybe this, about, I think it's 2 cents US more than the Pro Ant and those 3 components. So my BOM cost doesn't go down because I'm saving parts. No worries, Dan. Yeah, it's a, look, I've been thinking about this for a while. So I mentioned on that stream that I actually missed the opportunity to do this earlier. And I didn't know it was going to happen. So when I had the fiasco with the pick and place machine with the S1 and I had to return it and then wait for this machine, there was that period of weeks, right? And well, there was a period of weeks where we were trying to get the S1 fixed, and then there was a period of weeks when I had to replace it. And during that time, Crowd Supply ran out of stock. It wasn't intentional, but they ran out of stock because I couldn't make any more. Well, I was making them by hand and I couldn't make them fast enough. And that would have been the perfect time to have switched over to a new TinyPICO revision, because all of the stock that got sent would have been the new one, and there would have been very few old stock out there at a couple of resellers, and it would have been a complete new transition. I lost that opportunity because I didn't know it was going to happen, and even if I knew it was going to happen, I couldn't build the new ones anyway because I had no working pick and place machine. Now that Crowd Supply are getting lower in stock again, this opportunity is coming up again, but I have to be very quick. Like, I'd need to get this board finished today or tomorrow, get it to JLC PCB, get a prototype run done, make sure they're good, and then order a bunch and start making them. And start making them at the same time as making the old ones. I call it old ones, but you know what I mean. Revision 1, V1, V2, but make a minimal number of V1 while I start stockpiling V2, hoping that when the Crowd Supply order comes in, I can just ship them V2s. And then, yeah, does that make sense? Call the new one TinyPICO. No, it's got to be the same name. And then I've got to redo all the marketing stuff and all the visuals because there's going to be confusion. They'll be different. 2 days. Let's hope JLC don't screw up the prototype. Well, yeah, and the other thing is they're going to be expensive. So because these are impedance matched, so it's using their impedance match stack up and everything else, and so they're, you know, getting 10 boards of these made are going to cost me like $80 for 10 boards. Anyway. Yes, so TinyPICO XP. No, I'm not changing the name, I'm keeping the name. Don't beat yourself up. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make the prototypes. I don't see any reason why there'll be any issues with the prototypes. But I want to check them first, especially for manufacturing. And then, yeah, I will order a bunch and start making them. Yes. Trying to think what else. Wow, 2 hours. You could sell the prototype boards as limited edition. Well, there's only going to be a few of them. I'm probably only going to build one. I'm probably only going to order 5 boards. I don't know. I don't know how many I'm going to order. It's going to be expensive. If it's feature and form compatible, I see no issues with the Switch at any point. Tiny oopsie. Yeah, that's why I need to keep them feature compatible. The second I change the features on them, I think there's going to be a bit of confusion. Even the reset button. I don't mind the idea of pads for a reset button on the bottom, but I don't know. Such an awkward place to stick a reset button, and then it's maybe not breadboard friendly anymore, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm not going to, right? But you know, there's other, you know, if I was going to be changing it, then there's also room for more pins, right? I could put an extra pin here, and I could stick an extra 2 pins over here. Now, oops, a logo. I mean, you know, I've got room for more pins. If I was really going to do that, and then it would be a, you know, then it's a different board. It would have to be a right-angled edge button where the logo is. Maybe. Could be off to the side over here, underneath. TinyPICO Plus then. Yeah, but then if it's a TinyPICO Plus, then I'm confusing the marketplace between a TinyPICO and a TinyPICO Plus, where there's only a tiny little difference between them. And if I put extra pins on, I can't fit a button. But if I'm going to put extra pins on, why don't I just put more pins and make it longer and make it a TinyPICO Plus? Yeah. So many choices. So many. I don't know. Never know the right way to go. Catch you, Nick. Enjoy your dinner. Oh, Andy's going too. Which Andy's going? Oh, Andy Mouse going. Catch ya. Bye, Andy Mouse. Take care. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this off. And hopefully I'm going to finish off my video, my test jig video today. So I can actually start using my test jig and start testing my my batch of feathers, because I really want to make feathers and release them. I've got stacks of people waiting, and I want to send a whole bunch to Adafruit. I don't know if they're going to stock it or not. I mean, they said they will, but that was a while ago. I might just send them a bunch. We'll see how we go. Someone want to buy this for Emma. Brick set. Is this Lego? Yes, Adafruit is live tomorrow for CircuitPython Day. That's going to be... I'm going to jump in and out of that, probably. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Why don't you buy it for Emma? Sorry. Go away, ads. Yeah, Harry Potter. That's massive. Wow, cool. Okay, so I think Mark is out of cash. Mark buys too many STM32s. Just kidding. Sorry. I thought people might like Emma more than they like me. It's a possibility. You gotta smack the like buttons like this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, folks. I think I'm going to wrap this. I'm going to get back to finishing the board. I don't think people really want to watch me finish the board. I mean, I could just continue streaming indefinitely while I do it if you want. I don't know, but maybe not. Yeah. No. Yeah, do it. What, just keep streaming while I work? But I'm going to ignore everyone if I do it. I need to concentrate. Julian will watch anything. You're a liar, Julian. You won't watch anything. Just like you won't listen to any music. You're very picky with what you watch. I know. Shed talk. Yes, and garage renovation talk. Oh, what else do I've been printing, before we go, I'm printing lots more Whopper stuff. I need another printer again. Always running out. I need more printers. Whoppers are coming. More Whoppers are coming. Yes, it's getting late for everyone. OBS is performing really great. Over 2 hours, and it's behaving itself. Surprise, surprise. Okay, yeah, I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to go get a coffee, have something to eat. Say hi to my kids and Yaz, and so I can swear at the traces. Did I ever work out the shrinking Whopper? No, what I did with my last Whoppers is I assembled them. So I shipped them assembled. The acrylic, PCB, and 3D printed case with the screws in. And so if there was any shrinkage, my theory was it wouldn't shrink anymore because like the nuts and bolts would stop it. And I didn't hear any comments from anyone about shrinkage or any issues with it. So that's really all I came up with. And it seems to have been okay. So hopefully, I mean, yeah. The RGB LED situation, that's a whole different story. Yeah. But yeah, Whoppers are coming for those that are waiting. Sorry I've been taking so long. I will say hi to Teddy. For you, I will, Mark. I promise. You know Teddy doesn't talk, right? Doesn't have ears. But, just saying. Wrong form of Python. What are we doing? And what's the best song? No, I'm not singing I'm a Lumberjack. Sorry. Picture quality is better today because I upped the bitrate and I worked on... So this camera, I put a whole bunch of filters on. How sharp is it? Looks good. Makes my long hair that I need a haircut look better. Wow, even the feeders are in focus. Wow. Anyway, okay, I'm wrapping up. I'm just rambling now. Sorry. I'm not singing that song. Absolutely not. Everyone, have a fantastic week. Hopefully I'll have my test jig video up on Friday. Come up with a project user V2 with. Looking forward to your finale. Thanks, Dan. And I will post, if you're not on my Discord. Okay, wait, just quickly, before everyone runs away. Everyone's running away already. For those that aren't on my Discord, why not? Here is a link to it. I will post pictures of where I get to today of TinyPICO V2 on my Discord. So join the Discord if you're not already on there. Wow, 791 members on my Discord now, with 127 people online. That is nuts. Yeah, I'll post more stuff about the V2 on there, wherever I get up to today. Or I'll keep posting on there. Yeah. Okay, bye everyone. Take care. Coffee time. Woo!